We just recently picked up this 2008 Yamaha Raptor 700R. Pretty excited about it. I wanted to start this off with a little learning experience that I had that I thought I'd share with you guys so that you don't have the same experience. Some of you may already have known this, but anyway, so I see this thing on Marketplace and you can see it's pretty dang clean for 2008, and it's basically bone stock, which we kind of liked. Anyways, price was decent, so I'm like, hey, can I come look at it? And he says, sure, that's fine. And so he's like, yeah, we got a couple other potential buyers and whatnot. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll come run over there right now and get it, come look at it. And so I get there and he starts it up and whatnot, and it was fine. But he kind of, as soon as I get there, he's like, yeah, I got to get my kid in a little bit. So he's kind of rushing me. And so I'm looking around, and kind of, as you can see, it looks pretty good. And then I rode it. It rode okay. I didn't get to hear it idle the first time, but we'll get to that. Anyways, and so I was pretty stoked. I said, okay, I'll come back. And I noticed a couple things, like he had this bag of bolts. I was like, oh, maybe he's just precautious. I don't know, making sure he has bolts and stuff. Anyway, so I ride it up and down the street. It was acting a little funny, but I've never ridden a stock Raptor before, so I just attributed it to being a stock Raptor. And then I go get the truck. I come back and I'm like, hey, can I hear it idle? And he's like, sure, yeah, you can. It's fine. And he starts it up, and it didn't really idle, and so he's just revving it. He's like, it's just not warmed up. It's just not warmed up. I'm like, okay, fine. Well, he's like, well, you could just idle with the screw, with this idle screw. And he kind of twisted it, and I didn't notice much of a change. I'm like, okay, fine. It's probably just not warmed up. So we bring it home, and we start looking through it, and there's things I totally missed. And this is the learning experience. This had broken off, that had broken off, and then he was missing bolts all over. And this wire was melted, and he was missing bolts in here. He was missing a bolt there. This was loose. We tightened that down. We tightened the plastics down. There were bolts missing up there, and there was a bolt missing in here. Anyways, and chain was super loose. So we were kind of like, what the heck did he do to this thing? There's bolts missing on the pipe, right? Let's see. There's one right there that's missing. There's another right there that's missing. And then it wasn't idling very good, and so we started adjusting the idle screw, and it didn't do anything. Literally, you could go pretty much all the way in, all the way out, and it wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't do anything. And so we had to look it up and figure out why it was doing that. And whoever set it up last took it apart, kind of jacked that up, and so we had to fix that. It wasn't that hard of a fix, really, but now we've got that all dialed in to where we want it. We got a case saver. That's what we added. We tightened up the chain. We tightened down all the plastics. We got some rivets here. These were missing. There were some rivets that were missing up there. There's just lots of little weird things that I'm like, if you cared about this bike, you wouldn't have forgotten to put that on or something. So because of those bolts and random things that kind of showed signs of it not being super cared for, we're going to take it out today and make sure that the inside, the motor and everything is running good, and then before we go and invest in new tires and new grips and stuff, because these are also pretty bad. So we did get a new gas cap, which we're pretty excited about. The old one, the stem was just completely busted, and so instead of just adding just the stem, we decided why not make it look nice and get the whole thing. So another thing that we did was this thing had a tear actually in the diaphragm assembly in the carburetor, and so I took that apart and we fixed that, so now it should be running like new. Pretty excited about that. The only thing I'm worried about now is potentially a little oil leak right there. It's just an old hose, so we're gonna have to replace that, but hopefully that's not an issue today when we go take it out. We just got here. Dad had to test out the Trail Boss. It is fast again. All right, we made it to the river. It was what, 30 minutes? Not even 20? That's pretty quick. So far, no issues. This, of course, runs like a beauty. And this has been running really good. All right, stopped up here on this little plateau above the river. Dad and I both agree that the blue one is stiffer by a bit, so it actually beats you up more than the gray one. But they look pretty nice. They're both running good, so we're happy with that. Was it, Brittany?
Wet!
Wet?
Yeah, very wet.
All right. Anything you want to say to Hannah?
Oh, yeah.
Anything you want to say to her?
Wish she was here.
Okay, next time. All right, so we got back from our trip. It actually went really well. The Raptor ran way better than expected. It actually was more comfortable than the blue one. We think that could be maybe just the suspension tuning, maybe due to suspension tuning. It may also be due to the tire pressure. The tire pressure in the gray one is a little bit lower than the blue one, so that could also be it. Anyways, the moral of the story of this video is be careful when you're buying something. If the buyer is rushing you and there's little weird things about the machine, try and take the time if you can to make sure that it is good, because there was a lot of stress going into that first ride because I was expecting something off, something inside that I would have missed maybe with that initial run up and down the street. So lesson learned. Next time I'm going to be a little more thorough, and if they're pushing me to be fast, then I'm just going to probably pass on it. But this time I did get very lucky, and I dodged a potential bullet. But now we're excited to have the gray Raptor. It seems to be running good, so I'll keep you guys along for the ride as we upgrade it and do things to it. So, and if you like this content and want to see more of it, don't forget to like and subscribe. That would mean a ton to me. Right now we're just a smaller channel, so that'd be kind of fun to grow a little bit each video. So peace.